Are you a leader that's watching this and right now you're feeling so discouraged? In fact, you're feeling like your whole world is crashing down right on you? Well, don't worry, because on this video, we're going to talk about how to change your perspective. What's up, everybody? I'm Benny Contreras, and this channel is all about building young leaders for ministry. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, you hit that bell, that way you get a notification every single time a new video comes out. You are the first to watch it. Also, subscribing to the channel really helps me out, helps my channel out in getting this content in front of more young leaders that need to hear, need encouragement. You can help me do that today by just hitting that subscribe button, hitting the bell, and it will notify you when I come out with new videos, the latest and freshest content. Here's a fact for you. Every leader has something or someone that informs them on how they see the situation. Nowadays, with social media, television, we hear all kinds of voices. We read all kinds of things faster than ever before. What we don't realize is the more information that we take in, it changes our perspective. It manipulates our perspective. It becomes our new reality. When you look at something like Twitter, where information is literally coming out as we're speaking right now, new information is coming out from a different source of the side of the story, from a different person, a different account, new information that maybe changes the story or maybe continues along the same storyline. It changes our perspective every time we read and get updated. We don't realize that the information that we take in, we process it, and then it changes how we see a situation. It changes how we see a view or a topic or an idea. And as leaders, it's super important that we stay even keel to the idea and our perspective. It's important for us to continue to stay consistent in the midst of all the chaos. And trust me, I can spend a whole hour here talking about all the different information that's coming out, all the things that can change your perspective and have changed people's perspective on certain issues, on topics, you name it, it's all there. But I want to encourage you today to think about your perspective. Think about the way you view a situation. Think about how something appears to you, how you interpret it, the information you receive, and then how it changes on the dime. So I want to ask a couple questions and look at scripture to kind of support this idea that can help you on how to change your perspective. The first question is, what informs your view? What voices are you allowing in to kind of change the way you see something? Who are you listening to? What books are you reading? What movies, TV shows you're watching? What are you listening to? Who are you talking to that is informing you of your view? It's no coincidence that usually our ideas come from the people that we surround ourselves with. Most likely, some of our closest friends, sometimes, most of the time, agree and see things the way that we do. Why? Because we're constant communication with them, our perspective changes a little bit, or at the very least, allows us to kind of view it from the other side that we were previously. But it's always important to think about what is informing my view. What am I allowing into my heart, into my mind, into my ears, into my eyes, my goodness, everything. What am I allowing in that is changing how I see something? And the second question is, what does your view produce? Now that you have all that information, now that you've had that conversation, you've read that book, now that you received that information and processed it, what does it produce? What does it call you to do now? Are you still acting the same way? Are you still saying the same things? Are you still treating people the same way? What does your view now produce? Because when you think about it, you allow the information to inform you of a view, inform you of your view. You allow something to come in and influence you the way you see something, and it gets to a point where we start to act differently. Now it's producing something else. And so this is why we have to be very careful guarding our minds, our hearts, in what we are allowing into our lives, into our minds, into our spirits. Philippians chapter 1, verse 12 to 14, well-known scripture, Paul talks a lot about his perspective. And I want you to know, my dear brothers and sisters, that everything that has happened to me has helped me to spread the good news. For everyone here, including the whole palace ground, knows that I am in chains because of Christ, and because of my imprisonment, most of the believers here have gained confidence and boldly speak God's message without fear. Paul was in prison. He was in jail for preaching the gospel. He was in jail. He could have easily saw it as the end of his ministry. The thing is that if he would have allowed the voices from the palace, allowed the people who were out to get him, those voices to come in and inform him of his view, what would be a production of his view, a produce of his view is, well, my ministry's over. I'm in jail. I can't do nothing from here. But instead, Paul looked beyond his current situation. He said, you know what? This is going to help me. This is going to bless others. This is going to further God's gospel. This is going to spread his word. This is going to further the kingdom. Paul was able to look beyond his current situation and look at something beyond with a greater impact than what those who imprisoned him had in mind. And that's what faith is. Faith is the evidence of things unseen. To be able to change your perspective, you need to have some faith. I mean, I don't know, I feel like preaching right now, but you need to have some faith. As leaders, it's important that we have faith in our perspective, a faith perspective, because it allows us to see things beyond what we see in front of ourselves. It's easy to look at what you have and go, well, this is all I got. I can't make this into anything great. But with a faith perspective, you can look at what you have in your hands and understand that God can use that and do something great with it. Do something mighty, make a big impact in someone's life. Paul had this kind of perspective. He was able to look beyond his current situation. He was in jail. Are you kidding me? Like, this guy was not living a good life in jail. This guy was not living the high life in jail. But he understood that his imprisonment was going to help further the gospel. Why? Because he continued to do the things he was doing before. Many of the times we leave the things that we do before because we allow someone to inform our view, change our view, and now what our view produces is just different than what we were doing before. But Paul remained on mission. He said, look, this is what God has called me to do. I'm going to keep doing it. What? You want to throw me in jail? Well, guess what? You think it's going to be the end of what my ministry? You think it's going to be the end of me making an impact for God's kingdom? No way. In fact, you just did me a favor. Now this is going to reach more people, and more people are going to be blessed, because I should be pretty depressed right now, and I'm not. In fact, I'm filled with hope. I'm filled with faith because I know my perspective. My perspective is God is going to use this for a greater purpose. And this is the kind of perspective we have to have as leaders. In Philippians chapter 1, verse 20, Paul says like this, "For I fully expect and hope that I will never be ashamed, that I will continue to be bold for Christ as I have been in the past." I'm going to continue doing that the same as I was in the past. I'm going to keep being bold. And I trust that my life will bring honor to Christ whether I live or die. As leaders, we got to have that perspective. Like, I'm going to keep doing this. This is what I'm going to keep doing. The same as I've been doing. I'm not going to change. I'm on mission. I'm not going to change it up. God has called me to do something. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to keep being bold. The key is that beginning of that verse, because he says, I fully expect not to be ashamed. I fully expect that God is not going to let me down. I fully expect that this is not going to go wrong. Even though I may take a detour here and there, he fully expects that he will not be ashamed. He's going to keep being bold for Christ, and he's going to do it till the end of his life. As leaders, we got to have that perspective. If you want to change your perspective, think about number one, who's or what is informing your view, and then think about what is your view producing. If it's not producing any good, then you need to go back and look at what's informing your view. And the best way we can do that is reading scripture, is being in prayer, is getting connected to God, the one who is calling you on your mission right now, the one who's put you in place for ministry. If you do that, you're not going to be put to shame. Keep being bold for Christ. Keep on mission. Keep a faith perspective, and you are going to see how much of a blessing you're going to be, how fruitful you're going to be in life and in ministry. I love you guys. I hope this really helps you out today. It encourages me as I'm sitting here, and I hope it's encouraging you as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell to get notified for more videos to come. Go back and watch some of the videos I've done for young leaders. I love you guys, praying for you, and until next time, take care.